At midnight, a massive oil tanker enters the Strait of Hormuz under complete darkness. Its navigation lights are off, its tracking system has gone silent, and the crew maintains strict radio silence. Just a few miles away, Iranian missile batteries, patrol boats, and coastal radar scan the narrow waterway, waiting for the slightest sign of movement. On paper, this tanker should be an easy target. But hidden far beyond the horizon, the U.S. Navy has already begun an operation that could change the outcome before a single missile is fired. Instead of relying on overwhelming firepower, it uses something far more powerful: information. A new generation of technology is helping the Navy detect threats, disrupt enemy sensors, and protect vital shipping routes in one of the most dangerous waterways on Earth. Let me ask you a question. Can a single new weapon, or more accurately, a new way of fighting, allow the U.S. Navy to control the Strait of Hormuz without controlling the coastline itself? To understand the answer, we first need to understand why this narrow stretch of water matters so much. Although the Strait of Hormuz is only about 21 nautical miles wide at its narrowest point, nearly 20% of the world's oil passes through it every day. It connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman, making it one of the world's most important maritime choke points. Any disruption here can send energy prices soaring and impact economies across the globe. Its geography also favors the defender. Commercial ships must travel through narrow shipping lanes while Iran's northern coastline overlooks much of the passage. Coastal missile batteries, naval mines, fast attack boats, and surveillance systems have turned the strait into a layered defensive zone. This is not a new challenge. During the 1980s tanker war, both sides targeted commercial shipping, proving how vulnerable this waterway could become during conflict. Decades later, the technology has changed, but the strategic importance of Hormuz has only grown. And to keep this critical route open, the U.S. Navy had to abandon traditional naval tactics and develop an entirely new way of fighting. For decades, protecting commercial shipping was relatively straightforward. Warships simply escorted oil tankers through dangerous waters, relying on their size and firepower to discourage attacks. During the Cold War, this strategy worked because enemy forces had limited surveillance and slower reaction times. But modern warfare has completely changed the battlefield. Today, satellites can track ship movements from space. Long-range drones patrol the skies, coastal radar scans the horizon around the clock, and precision-guided missiles can strike targets hundreds of kilometers away. A large naval escort no longer just provides protection, it also becomes an easily identifiable target. The U.S. Navy realized that surviving in the Strait of Hormuz would require a new approach. Instead of trying to hide behind bigger warships, it developed a network-centered way of fighting. This new weapon is not a single missile or aircraft. It's an integrated system that combines satellites, surveillance drones, artificial intelligence, electronic warfare, and real-time data sharing. Together, these technologies allow commanders to detect threats first, disrupt enemy sensors, and make faster decisions than their opponent. That strategy begins with stealth. Before entering the strait, commercial ships reduce their electronic signature as much as possible. Navigation lights are minimized, unnecessary radio transmissions are avoided, and sensitive movements are coordinated through secure military communications. The goal isn't to make the ship invisible, but to make it far more difficult to identify and track. However, darkness alone cannot defeat radar. A fully loaded oil tanker has an enormous steel hull that reflects powerful radar signals, making it visible even on the darkest night. If the enemy's radar remains active, the ship can still be targeted. That's where electronic warfare becomes critical. A-18G Growler aircraft use advanced jamming systems to interfere with enemy radar and communications, creating confusion instead of simply destroying equipment. At the same time, aircraft launched from U.S. carrier strike groups patrol the region, providing surveillance, air superiority, and rapid strike capability. While the carriers remain safely beyond the horizon, their aircraft continuously shape the battlefield, ensuring that by the time a tanker enters the Strait of Hormuz, the fight to protect it has already begun. Winning control of the Strait of Hormuz isn't just about powerful warships, it's about sending the right assets into the right place at the right time. That's where unmanned systems have transformed modern naval warfare. Instead of risking sailors in the most dangerous waters, the U.S. Navy can deploy unmanned surface vessels, underwater drones, and reconnaissance aircraft to scout ahead of the fleet. These systems search for mines, monitor enemy movements, collect radar emissions, and relay real-time intelligence back to commanders. If one is lost, no lives are at risk, making them ideal for high-threat missions. Another hidden danger lies beneath the surface. Naval mines remain one of the most effective weapons in the Strait of Hormuz. A single mine can cripple a billion-dollar warship or block a critical shipping lane. Before commercial vessels can safely pass, specialized mine countermeasure teams use sonar-equipped drones, remotely operated vehicles, and helicopters to detect and neutralize underwater threats, often at a painfully slow but necessary pace. While the sea is being cleared, the skies provide an entirely different advantage. Aircraft like the E-2D Hawkeye, surveillance drones, and military satellites continuously monitor the region, extending the Navy's vision far beyond the horizon. Flying thousands of feet above the battlefield allows these platforms to detect ships and aircraft that coastal radar cannot always see due to the Earth's curvature. But Iran doesn't rely on missiles alone. Its forces employ GPS spoofing, electronic jamming, mobile radar systems, and rapidly relocating missile launchers to complicate U.S. operations. By transmitting false navigation signals, they can trick ships into believing they're in a different position, increasing the risk of collisions or navigational errors inside the narrow shipping lanes. That's why U.S. Navy crews continue training to operate even without GPS. Using inertial navigation systems, radar navigation, magnetic compasses, paper charts, and traditional dead reckoning, ships can continue their mission even if satellite signals disappear. Because in a modern naval battle, technology is essential, but preparation, discipline, and skilled crews remain the ultimate backup when every electronic system is under attack. But after all these layers of technology, one question remains: who actually controls the Strait of Hormuz? So, after everything we've explored, one question remains: who really controls the Strait of Hormuz? At first glance, the answer seems obvious. Iran controls much of the northern coastline, operates coastal missile batteries, deploys naval mines, and maintains fast attack boats throughout the region. Geography clearly gives it a defensive advantage. But modern warfare has rewritten the rules. Today, controlling a strategic waterway isn't simply about who owns the coastline. It's about who controls the flow of information. A missile battery is useless if it can't locate its target. A drone has little value if it loses communication. Even the most advanced weapon becomes ineffective without accurate, real-time targeting data. That's why military planners often describe modern conflict with a simple principle: detection equals control. The force that detects first understands the situation first. The force that understands first can react faster, coordinate better, and strike before the enemy even realizes what's happening. And that's exactly how the U.S. Navy approaches operations in the Strait of Hormuz. Long before a commercial ship enters the shipping lane, satellites begin monitoring the region. Surveillance aircraft scan the skies, drones search the coastline, mine hunters clear safe passages, and electronic warfare aircraft suppress hostile radar. Carrier strike groups remain beyond the horizon, ready to launch fighters or precision strikes at a moment's notice. Every platform shares information in real time, creating one continuous picture of the battlefield. This is no longer a contest between individual ships or missiles. It's a competition between two networks, one trying to detect, and the other trying to remain undetected. As technology continues to evolve, future naval battles will be decided less by fleet size and more by the speed of information, artificial intelligence, autonomous systems, and electronic warfare. The side with the clearest picture of the battlefield will almost always hold the advantage. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for Carrier Command. Every week, we break down the technology, engineering, and real-world strategies behind the world's most powerful navies. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next mission.